We're out here in Los Angeles, where Mayim Bialik of Big Bang Theory and Candid Camera fame, and her partner in Torah, Allison Josephs, of Jew in the City, are about to film a promo for Partners in Torah. We arrived at Mayim's Hollywood dressing room a little early.
Mayim? Mayim? Mayim?
Allison, I'm over here. I'm ready to learn.
Okay, this looks promising. Let's now cut to Mayim's first take on the promo. Roll the tape.
Well, I joined Partners in Torah because I had just had my first son, and I was in grad school, and I felt like my whole life and world was about academics and being a mom, and the spiritual part of me and the part of me that was in touch with emotional, richer parts of my heritage was really lacking. It was like the part of me that hadn't been fed. And I was just hoping, I was so nervous to join because I didn't know who I'd get paired with.
How'd it work out?
It worked out good. But I think part of it was just wanting to connect with something, and the fact that this existed, that you don't need to pay membership dues and you don't need to join a synagogue and go somewhere that you're not ready to go on a holiday that you don't know how to celebrate. This was like such an easy, it turned out to be obviously one of the hardest journeys, right, that we can take, is the journey to our spiritual self. But it was such an easy way to get in touch with this part of myself. So that's why I joined Partners in Torah. You know, when you use the word spiritual, especially because I'm from Los Angeles, that can mean so many fluffy things. Sure. But there were so many holes in kind of my deeper understanding of why to do things. I had learned a lot of how, but I didn't understand why. I didn't know a lot of the history, and my hope was to do exactly what I think we did probably in one of our first times we spoke, was these are the things I don't understand, and I'm tired of acting like either I do understand them or I'm too good for those things and I don't need to be kosher because it's so silly, when I didn't really know anything about it. So I think that was my goal, was to get educated. And I feel like what I found in Partners in Torah, which was surprising once we got into our learning, was that there wasn't an expectation of observance. This is not an outreach program that's seeking to make people religious. This is an outreach program that is seeking to give Jews the education that's our birthright, no matter what your level of observance or what you think your level of interest is. That was good. That sounded like an ad.
Yeah, totally. That's awesome.
That's a fantastic ad. I can't wait to show this to Rabbi Gewurtz. But I do have a question. Why do you have to learn with another person? Why can't you just study Judaism on your own, like online or in a library?
I think it's an important point of Partners in Torah and of Jewish learning in general that it has to be done together.
For sure.
We have a Torah and a tradition of learning that is not made to be studied in isolation. And Partners in Torah is the perfect embodiment of that ethic, that you need someone else who's even one step ahead of you to say, like, I read that, I know that, or I lived it and I can do it with you. And I think that's an incredibly important part of Jewish learning that I literally never knew about. And I was a very Jewish kid. I was bat mitzvahed, I was confirmed, I went to Hebrew school, all that stuff. I had a Jewish home, but I never knew about the kind of learning that Partners in Torah is really like designed to facilitate.
Mayim, you crushed it. But I do have another question. Why would a mentor, the person who's coming from a place of knowledge already, want to do this? Allison, any thoughts?
You forced me through the learning to keep on learning because, first of all, you're an incredible student. And I mean, maybe I should have known that was going to happen if I was working with someone who got a PhD in neuroscience. Maybe I should have expected that. But I had had a couple Partners in Torah before you, and no one ever prepared like you did. And so, like, you forced me to keep on going and keep on preparing and keep on enriching myself.
So there you have it, folks. A successful relationship. They've learned from each other. They've grown from the experience. But one second. These two are now great friends? How did that happen?
That's the unexpected thing for me that I got out of our learning, which started for me as a very cerebral thing. I was calling Partners in Torah. I was like, reaching out. But what it became was a connection to someone who was many more steps ahead of me, but who had lived a life that I had no access to yet. So what I got from you was an education about what it means to be a Jewish person and to have that permeate your whole life. And that's something I never thought I'd get just from asking those hard questions. Like, why are we kosher? What's that? Why can't I turn on a light?